Come on, everybody. My name's Jimmy. I'm man in recovery. This has been a beautiful night, man. This is a packed house, man. It's just a beautiful thing to see. And thank you so much to everybody who shared before me, man. It's been powerful. I had about 10 years of experience in the rooms of recovery, before I came to strength and recovery. So I'm going to touch on that because these last 3 years, coming up on 3 years, have been some of the most transformative years that I've ever had. You know what I mean? So I only thought that I had done some work. Like when I came home from jail in 2013, I was restarting my life, and I was so broken. I was ready. I was willing, and I did everything that people that were sober and living sober told me to do. I got a sponsor. I went to meetings by any means necessary, and I used that by any means necessary as kind of like a way to beat myself up for a long time, because I didn't really want to surrender. I didn't really want to ask anybody for help. I kind of really thought that I deserved to just do it all myself because I was holding on to a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. Okay, and 10 years went by, and I still received blessings as a result of recovery. That's what happens. It's just what happens. If you stay sober a day at a time, if you take suggestions, you will experience the blessings of recovery. And that happened, but 10 years went by, and I'm gaining things in my life that I never had before, and I'm experiencing God in a lot of new ways, and He's working in my life, but I felt empty. And I can't really all the way explain it, but I knew something was missing, right? I had met and married a beautiful woman. I had a daughter. We had built a life and started a life together. And my wife was being deployed in 2022. She was going to be going overseas. She's in the military. I had all this stuff planned. I was like, me and my daughter are about to do this. I'm about to get super jacked in the gym. I'm about to have this scheduled 3 days a week. We're doing all, and she left. And all that stuff went out the window, all my plans went out the window. I became real stressed real quick, real lonely real quick. And God used that to help me to see myself in a way and see what I was really struggling with in a way that I had never seen it before. And I reached out to a friend who I knew from the rooms of recovery, always admired, always looked to. Anytime I seen him, anytime I heard him speak, my man Zach, right? And he said, I'm still over at Strength and Recovery. I had been here a few different times. I had over the years, like guys that I knew that came here in and out, and I would come, but I never just stayed, right? And I also was kind of struggling with where to fit in my relationship with God. I really didn't know where I wanted to be. I grew up a certain way, and I really didn't want to go, I didn't identify with that. I didn't feel God, I didn't feel Jesus in that, and I knew that I was being pulled to have a more meaningful relationship. So he was like, we're still over here, man. Wednesdays, 6:30, come on by. And I still didn't know what was going on, you know what I mean? I just knew what emotions I was struggling with. And I came, and everybody was sharing about it tonight, but the honesty that I felt, or the honesty that I heard, rather, it immediately just, it started to lift a little bit of a burden, right? And I was talking to some home group members, James and Zach, and I had, like I said, I'd known some of these guys, and I'm meeting new people, and they were encouraging me to come to church, and I said, you know what, I'm in, right? So I signed up for a J group. It was a men's J group. It was an awesome opportunity because my daughter got to be in her own J group while I was in my men's J group. So she got to experience, and we just started coming to church and started going to a J group. I started coming to Strength and Recovery all at one time, right? And I remember the very first time that I came to service on Sunday, I just broke down crying, man. I can't tell you what the message was about. I can't tell you what worship song was on. I had never experienced church like this. I grew up Catholic, and I knew that this is where I belonged. I knew the journey was where I belonged. I was feeling Jesus in a way that I never, ever, ever had before. and something came over me, man, you know what I mean? Because I had been trying to do this on my own for so long, and guilting and shaming myself for so long. I was trying to please the woman that I love with all my heart on my own. I was trying to be a father on my own, and I was feeling depleted, feeling less than, feeling weak. And I felt, I didn't really hear it, I don't know if I heard it, but I felt God say to me, you can't do any of that if you don't love me first. You can't do any of that if you don't love me first. So I opened up. God opened me up, and I started hearing things differently. You know, I started seeing things differently. I thought I knew what service was. I was in a 12-step fellowship. I was holding doors and greeting people, and I made some coffee. But I saw guys really in service, selflessly, you know, dying to themselves of service, the way Jesus explains, you know. And I wanted to be a part of that, man. You know, I believe in community, and that's what this has given me. You know, I've been able to experience recovery in a completely different way, being really of service, having a sponsor, sponsoring other men. I'm on the phone with somebody daily, whether it's my sponsor or whether it's just a friend in recovery. We talk. The fellowship means everything to me. Without each of those pieces and what they give to my life, man, I really, I'd still be trying to do it on my own, still living in guilt and shame. And I don't live like that today, man. I get to smile, I get to show up, just be present, watch miracles happen every day, man. It's a blessing to be here, and thank you guys for letting me share.